Hello. So today for our language learning goal, we have I can use my knowledge of prefixes to help me determine the meaning of an unknown word. Hey, we've been working on this for a few weeks now. We've looked at prefixes, we've looked at root words, we've looked at suffixes, and so I'm reusing an anchor chart that we used earlier because it has some of our good work with prefixes right here. So remember, a prefix is a word part at the beginning of a word. Okay? It's a word part that you can add to a base word to change the meaning of that word. And we had some examples here. We had the word reject and project. They both have the same base, ject. However, their prefixes were different. Re means again. Pro means forward. Okay, so we're going to be using the same vocabulary strategy as we have in the past. We're going to find a complex word, an unknown word, then we're going to look for clues. We look for clues inside the word. Are there prefixes that we know? And then we're going to look for those clues outside the word. Are there any other words in the sentence or in the next sentence that might help us determine the meaning of that word? So once we look for the clues inside the word and outside the word, then we guess what that meaning might be, and once we have a guess, we put that guess right back in the sentence, read the sentence again, and see if our guess made sense. So let's give it a try. Okay, this week we are basically just working with these prefixes, for, in, and trans. For means before, like your forehead, as in like the front part of your head. Foresee, like I foresee that eventually we'll go back to school. It means I can see what's going to happen ahead of time. Some academic examples are forethought and foreshadow. Like the character's early interest in fairness foreshadowed her career as a civil rights lawyer later in the story. Foreshadow is a clue that you get early on in the story that helps you predict events that will happen later. In is a prefix that means not. Inactive means not active. Invisible, not visible. Inconsequential means like it is of no consequence. Insensitive means that that character is not very sensitive. Here's an example. Juanita's mistake on the test was inconsequential. It did not affect her grade at all. Did you see how there was that clue outside? Okay, that's a context clue when the clue is outside of the word and in the sentence. The next prefix is trans. Trans means across, or that there's a change that happens. So a transaction, if you go to the bank and you complete a transaction, that is an action between two people or across accounts. Transform, there's a change that occurs. Transatlantic, a transatlantic voyage would be across the Atlantic. And transcription, you are changing, like if I were to transcribe your thoughts, then you would say it in verbal form and I would write it down. I would change your thoughts into writing. Scribe means to write, so I'm changing it into writing. The example for that trans is the transatlantic flight from the United States to England took a little more than 6 hours. So there were clues inside the word trans and outside of the word. The flight from here to England, so across the Atlantic. Here are some examples, and we are going to try to find the word, the complex word with the prefix. Ready? My sister assured me that she would be happy with a simple, inexpensive gift. She told me that I do not need to spend a lot of money for her birthday. What is the word? Inexpensive. Yes. So I'm going to write this right down here. Inexpensive is the word. You know, I always like to come up here and use my blue. Inexpensive. The prefix is in. It's fine if it's not a color. The base is expensive. So what does inexpensive mean? It means not expensive. And look, there are clues. There are context clues outside of the word. She told me that I did not need to spend a lot of money. Anytime that there is a clue outside of the word, I'm going to highlight it. Did not need to spend a lot of money. Inexpensive means not expensive. You don't spend a lot of money, or it doesn't cost very much. So it's fine if it's highlighted. Not expensive. Does not have a high price or a high cost. Okay, let's try another one. The results of our science experiment were inaccurate. You know what I didn't do up there? I didn't highlight the word. There we go. The results of our science experiment were inaccurate. Because we did not measure carefully. Our teacher suggested that we do the experiment again to get correct measurements. Okay, first step, we notice the word. We're going to write down the word. Inaccurate. Prefix in. Base word accurate. We had some clues in that same sentence. We did not measure carefully. Okay. Now a clue just helps us understand the meaning. That's not what inaccurate means, is to not measure, but that's a clue. Okay? And it looks like they did not get the correct measurements. In means not. So inaccurate means not accurate. But what does that mean, not accurate? What word could we put there that means the same thing? Let's try this word, wrong. And let's read it with that word in its place and see if it makes sense. The results of our science experiment were wrong because we did not measure carefully. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay? That's what I want you to do. I want you to figure out the meaning using the clues inside the word and outside of the word. And I want you to write it down here. And what you're going to do is, I don't have the next page on there yet, but the next page will have a passage with the words highlighted. You're going to fill out the chart. Put the complex word in the chart, prefix, base word, and the meaning based on those clues inside and outside of the word. You can do it. I can't wait to see your work. Bye.